Alright, well, because I've got this week's stuff and last week's stuff, this week's big. There's 4 packages here and a large pile on the side, so let's get cracking, I guess. First of all, there's going to be a handful of non-anime things in here. And why don't we add these to that pile while we're at it. This, it should be an anime. This week's anime in particular. Yes, yes. And then this is obviously a Right Stuff package, so let's get the Star Departed. That's the dangerous way to do it. But I guess that was off camera, so you didn't see nothing. Oh gosh, I didn't. See, the dangerous thing is you're not really supposed to slice towards something you want to cut. In this case, it's towards this other pile of Blu-rays, DVDs. I guess if I start this like that, I should be able to open the rest of it. Alright. Let's take this out first. Can I take it out? What is wrong here? Yeah, there we go. Usually not much more to this other than padding, and yeah. Do it. Jesus. Okay, and this is a receipt. Everything else we can look at. So there's nothing else in that. Oh god, this thing is actually really heavy. Bandit Flower Complete Edition. And for this stuff, we have another holiday card. And these arrived earlier. This one's actually really nice. Not that this is bad, but that's really nice. The advertisement for Sailor Moon Season 3 something? No, Season 4 Super S. I just didn't remember what had been released. Before we start doing that, let's get through these non-anime things. Let's begin with these 2 Switch games. So, as people pointed out, a couple people pointed out, I didn't pick up Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I was kind of aware of, but since I hadn't played the first one and that other spin-off thing, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to be able to play this, but they said it's kind of like the Final Fantasy stuff where it's its own independent. And then I went to Target and realized this was out, and hey, Project Touhou characters. I don't know if this game's shit or not, but it was cheap, and I kinda, like Project Touhou. Didn't realize Westworld came out. I know it's got a reputation as being pretty good, I guess. I got DVD and Blu-ray versions so that, I might get them all on DVD if I don't care too much for the series whenever I do watch it, but figured that. And then, Game of Thrones, complete 7th season Blu-ray. I did order the DVD version, but I'm not quite sure why it didn't ship. Or what this thing here is, but oh well. So before we get through that, let's add to the pile. This is all of last week's stuff. Why don't we begin with the thing that's already open, and that's the Squid Girl limited edition collection, which I didn't have to wait till the end of the month because I pre-ordered from both Amazon and Right Stuff, and then canceled the Amazon one when Right Stuff shipped expected to me much earlier. So it's already a nice box set. Content-wise, we have our Blu-ray discs, Season 1, Season 2, and OVA. Let's see, and this is Region A, and this is of course English dubbed, although, now I didn't rewatch the Season 1 dubs, but Season 2 and OVA have different characters than what was there before. Oof. Oh, there's an image. characters. And, you know, I've watched it now, and it's okay. I was able to watch it all dubbed, even though, you know, you're kind of used to the first version of the voices you hear. This is the DVD discs. As you can see, 7 discs instead of 5. Once again, an image in the background. That's kind of tricky to see from this angle, but oh well. We can just take a peek. That imagery looks familiar. It was on the cover of the last one. We've got a small booklet. Guess your mini kamusume. Well, that would be. I don't know. You can see there's a lot of stuff in there. It doesn't look like the standard distribution of stuff. Oh yes, and then we got this box which contains extra stuff that we're going to open up here, and I've taken a peek at already, but we'll begin. There's a certificate of authenticity. I am apparently lucky human number 106. I suppose it'd be interesting if that number was smaller. So we've got postcards here. And as is my standard policy, getting them back into the plastic is really hard, so I just don't bother to get it. Okay, some sort of certificate of donation thing. And then the really interesting goodies. Actually, I kind of like these pens, although they're probably never going to come out of this plastic bag ever. You know, fun characters. I'm not sure if it's the best Squid Girl image, but it is still, you know, like this might be. That's probably one of the best Squid Girl images out there. And then a keychain of mini Squid Girl. This one's probably actually going to come out because that can actually be hung up on, probably, I'm considering a wall at work or something. And I think this was what was out on the outside by default, so that when it's inserted like that, it looks like that. But it probably doesn't really matter. Let's get to the next limited edition thing. This thing, I mean, oh my god, it's heavy. I mean, maybe this pile of all these DVDs weighs more than this, but it's actually surprisingly not that comparable. Or it's surprisingly more comparable than you would think it should be. Well, this is, as the box says, Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt Bandit Flower Complete Edition, which I think is a continuation of Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, which I haven't seen, and these things will not disconnect. If I can get them to disconnect, I can get this out. And as you can see, this is very, holy shit, no wonder this is heavy. This is mostly concentrated tree. Where's the other one? In there? Okay. I definitely can't put this at the top of some more piles because it will press things down. But let's get these out of the way. Since this was done through Right Stuff, it should have English dub or subtitles. I mean, it seems to me that all the Gundam stuff continues to be dubbed, even if Bandai isn't the one releasing or distributing them or something. I don't know much about Gundam Thunderbolts contextually, as in the content either. So this appears to be the actual Blu-ray, and everything else seems to be... This seems very familiar. I think this, maybe the first one was like this. It's just been so long. Okay, so we put that aside, and as you can see, this is textual and this is graphical. Neat graphics. But we have to do a lot of digging in order to continue to find out what the hell is even in here, because it's maybe one disc. I don't even know what... Oh, for fuck's sake. This thing is... It has like every single problem in the book in terms of getting something out of a box set. Well, except of course, you know, this isn't locked. At least we don't have to worry about that. And then finally, we take a look on the inside. We have one disc, so maybe Bandit Flower. Is this a movie or something? I really should just watch it. And the first one, the second one, a lot of the Mobile Suit Gundam stuff. I don't know. I think as usual for Mobile Suit Gundam release, we see on the inside a lot of mechas. Because Gundam... I don't know. I was going to say it tends to be more... Oh, this is a special disc. Blu-ray. Sax, piano, guitar. What even is this? It says Live Operation 01. Rumble in Silence. Which makes me wonder if this could be like a live performance of some of the music or something. But that's just a total guess. So these storyboards... Oh, maybe it's 4 episodes because we have storyboard 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we take a look inside one of these, we'll see it's a storyboard. Surprise, surprise. It's also interesting how 7 is small, 6 and 8 seem big, and 5 seems medium-sized. It's very interesting how there's a difference in size. Probably indicates something about some of the complexity, maybe, of them. Animation works. Cool. I guess this gets inserted like that. Now I put it here to make sure Squid Girl doesn't go anywhere. And now we get... Why don't we go for this, because this is also a big thing. We got Mob Psycho 100, which I have seen mentioned before. Ooh, look, regions A and B. And there's an English dub. I'm not sure what it's about, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the next thing I'm probably going to watch. Unless I decide to watch Game of Thrones, because I can have that on in the background. I don't know. That depends on various Pokemon related stuff. Ooh. That's a sparkly background. Actually, I guess this side did that too. All sides seem to be doing it. And then on the inside, well, the inside isn't doing it, but let's take a look here first. Okay, first of all, that seems to be a more accurate depiction of that. And then this is that. That says DVD, that says DVD. So these are DVDs 1 and 2, and then these should be Blu-ray 1 and 2. Okay. This is a very confusing, not concerning, there's nothing concerning about this, it's confusing. I don't know what kind of show this will be. There's stickers. These character designs are very strange. His face is a maze. See? It's a maze. Alright. So I've got a spoon, so that makes me think there's psychic power related stuff here, because that seems to be a reference to spoon bending. I don't know if that's supposed to be a ghost or a fart joke. What? Okay, these would probably be hard to read, because now I just realized these are probably supposed to be shaped like, I mean, this kind of looks like the number 2 or something, but it probably actually is supposed to look like a Japanese character of some sort, which I wouldn't be surprised if this one is as well as that one. I don't know. Maybe like that, because I see the text down there. Text here. We've got that. I don't know. There's something else in here. Oh, yeah, another one of these. It's also possible they kind of abstractly reference Japanese words, because this one kind of reminds me of, I think, the Japanese word for person, which kind of looks like one person leaning on another or something like that. I don't know exactly, since I've never taken the language, but I can't help but wonder, you know, since they're kind of leaning on each other, one person's much shorter than the other, are they supposed to reference something like that? Maybe there's actually, it doesn't fit in there. Oh well. But the important thing is I close it, which, you know, is kind of hard to do when it doesn't close. And then I slip this in there. Come on, slip in. Oh geez, this thing is not agreeing with me. There we go. Okay, let's just go in the order for the rest of the stuff. Initial D Awakening. Initial D Legend 1 Awakening. I wonder if this is a remake of the initial concept of Initial D. I've never actually seen it. I don't know for certain. And watching it probably wouldn't let me know if it was a reboot or a remake or what. But, oh well, let's just take a peek, because this is a simple movie with a Blu-ray version and a... Ooh, the camera says this person is a face. And now that person. It's kind of weird. DVD version. Simple enough. Next up, we've got Love Live Sunshine, which Blu-ray DVD copy, Region A. Did we say which one this was? This one was Region A. And audio, there's a dub. Here, I guess there's a dub. Which, okay, yeah, that's right. Because Love Live was originally a NISA, an NIS of America release. But then they get re-released with a dub or something like that. Hold on just a second. I was looking away and I didn't realize that the cover art's different. The background art is different. So it's 1 through 9, 10 through 13, which means those are Blu-ray, and then the DVDs are orange. And then lots of images. Oh, that's right, I probably put it in like that. Next up, we've got Digimon Adventure Try, Confesion. This would be the third movie, I think. Does it say 3 anywhere? says it's a 2-disc set. Digital download. Alright. I see a region A down there, so that means that this is region A only. Let's get that out of the way, and we've got DVD and Blu-ray and an image of some sort. Also available, those two things that I know I have the first one because I've definitely seen that. I'm pretty sure I have that one, but it just doesn't jump out at me as, oh yes, of course I have it. Plus Confesion premiere panel. I don't know. Next up we have Taboo Tattoo, and this would finish up the stuff that arrived before today that's anime. Oh, regions A and B. English dub. Now, I don't know what to make of this. I'm not sure if that character's supposed to be a guy or a girl. The way they're showing off the butt means it's either supposed to be ambiguous. I can't tell from the back. Is that person? It looks a little more feminine, but could be intentionally androgynous, or I don't know. I've known a couple of anime. They're like, oh yes, you know, here's a sexy for the men pose of a character. It kind of reveals, you know, somebody's gender in a show that doesn't matter. And I'm not going to mention that show. I did mention regions A and B, right? Yeah. Anyways, the entire point is we go on the inside. 2 discs, Blu-ray, and then 2 discs DVD. Nice and simple. We've got characters. And if I looked closer, I could probably figure out who this person may supposed to be there, and based on a different angle of their attire. No for certain, but oh well. And then these are the 2 anime that were released this week. First we got Trickster, Part 1, Episodes 1 through 12, with the Funimation digital copy. Ooh, regions A and B, and there's an English dub. So this is the all the things. Kind of looks interesting. Let's see. Move this out of the way. I see Blu-ray, so it looks like you got your disc 1s, your disc 2s, nothing too notable. I guess it just says Trickster. I'm not sure how well. Yeah, there we go. Kind of hard to see it on the camera. And then, last but not least, we have the D.Gray-man Season 3 Part 2 DVD release. Which I'm not sure about Blu-ray releases. I'm not even sure if all the old Blu-ray releases were actually released. But, you know, whatever. It's D.Gray-man. Obviously, it's not going to be region A and B because it's DVD only, which means it's going to be DVD region 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And this one will probably be 1. In fact, it says 1 down there. And we've got Part 2 Disc 2, Part 2 Disc 3, and if I remember correctly, were these Noah's family or something like that? Is that what they were called? It's been a long time. Anyways, here's this week's anime DVD collection update. So I think as of last time I had watched the 0th episode of Tales of Zestria the Cross. It's hard to remember for certain. But if that's where I was, then I watched the entirety of the first disc. I guess I put off the second disc. Oh yeah, okay. Higher priority stuff. So maybe I'll put the rest of this on just to get it over with. Content-wise, it's okay. It definitely looks great and doesn't do anything that's boring per se. It just doesn't feel as engaging as it feels like it really should. Like, it's got all these cool characters, cool ideas, cool scenarios, but there's something not quite clicking, and maybe it's kind of the story or the focus of the story or something. You know, it makes sense. It's an RPG translated into an anime, so there's certain things that won't work out perfectly, but that's okay. It's not bad. It's definitely pretty, but not perfect, I guess. My friend that I watched some Dragon Ball Super with, we watched the first disc of Dragon Ball Super Part 2, and I think we've watched all of it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I was just thinking, because, you know, I probably also want this to be down here. And I have to say, you know, I really enjoy it. I like the better direction that was taken in post Dragon Ball Z movie 13, where you had a Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F that came out, and then you have Dragon Ball Super, which begins by retelling those stories in episodic format. And even though they're slower, I kind of like it because they digest pretty well. Even if they are kind of taking their time to do stuff, I don't feel like it's all that bad. It's a nice thing to just kind of have on and, you know, be doing something else at the same time, but I think I actually put all of my focus into this while it was on. So, I don't know. We didn't finish the second half of, you know, the second disc, which isn't really the second half of that release, but, you know, overall, I like where it's going. I'm kind of curious where it's going to go afterwards, even though it's given a couple of hints. And it doesn't really matter because this probably doesn't get to that point on the second disc. It's probably going to be in Dragon Ball Super Part 3. With my friend that I'm rewatching Future Diary with, we watched 8 more episodes, and it's been fun to rewatch. I guess at this point, none of what I would consider the, well, no, a couple iconic scenes I'd say would happen, but it's a good reminder of just why Yuna Gasai is one of the most yandere out there, because she sticks to the role really well. And, you know, it's enjoyable for that. Outside of that, I did actually, since this arrived closer to the end of last week, I had a chance to fire this up and watch, it arrived Friday. But yeah, I had a chance to fire it up and watch Season 2 and the OVA. So I had previously watched Season 1 before, and Season 1 kind of has this magic that kind of sucks you in. That seems to be a little missing from Season 2. It's one of those standard things where that you run into it with comedy slice of life stuff, where sometimes the second season it loses a little bit of what made that first season great, but it doesn't lose it all. It's an entertaining background watch. I still think the first season is probably the best of the stuff out there. And the OVA is, you know, okay. I think it actually maybe is slightly better a little bit, but yeah, it's not bad. There is the issue, of course, of, you know, at least starting in Season 2 of this, the English dub is not the same as the English dub that was released before, or rather the actors are not the same actors, except for Squid Girl. I think they kept her the same between all of them, which works. I'm wondering if maybe the original script wasn't as great, or maybe the translation couldn't be quite as good for Season 2. It feels like some of the squid puns don't make as much sense, only a very slight amount, whereas a lot of them are perfectly fine. It's something that it doesn't draw too much attention to anymore, and instead it's more, I don't know, kind of a stagnancy, I guess. So yeah, maybe that's the thing. It's where, like, for a lot of beginnings or first seasons of stuff, like Ramen Fighter, I want to say Mikuru, but I'm not sure if that's quite right. That one's kind of a really extreme example of the problem, where it begins by introducing all these new elements and just being really, really, really fun, and then at a certain point it's not introducing anything new, and Instead, it's just kind of shuffling with the ideas it already has, so there's no new ideas per se, I guess, from a comedy perspective. And I don't think Squid Girl Season 2 is quite as extreme as that, but it's a common thing that you see in a lot of comedy animes, and it's unfortunate that Squid Girl is like that, but at the same time, this is actually a pretty nice box set, I guess. I mean, this box itself is okay, but the contents, the artwork, you know, it's all great Squid Girl stuff. Outside of that, my focus, now that my winter vacation started, has actually been Pokemon. Which, you know, shouldn't be that surprising, because I think that last time I was making enough progress such that in this past week you would know I'm getting into the stuff that would be really, really new with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And I can't talk about the details of the changes too much, but there's a couple of interesting things about them. One actual slight negative is because of the way they changed the later part of the game, you don't get one of the best lines in a Pokemon game ever. So that's something I'm going to have to let somebody who's playing Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon as their first Pokemon game since Gen 2 Gold and Silver, I'll have to let them know that they missed that. But it's okay. It's been very interesting, some of the tweaks that made. I'm having to dig into Alpha Sapphire because I kind of realized that for metagame grinding, I need something that handles that annoyance. And I don't really want to reveal that because it kind of reveals information if you know what you're looking for. And I kind of respect y'all's ability to be playing it at the same time I am or something. Maybe making slower progress. All I can say is there were definitely some really hard things in there. I'm not even quite sure how I could have won with what I had, given that, or if I didn't have what I had, given that it was brutal. It was entertainingly brutal. But that aside, post credits, when you start getting into the post credits stuff, there's the dungeon they introduces that's new to Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and not in Sun and Moon it was surprisingly brutal as well. I finally gotten past it, so I guess I was kind of debating how I would refer to it so that people who had played know what it is. But let's just say it calls the thing that happens after the credits an episode. It did the same thing for Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. I think they called it the Zeta Emerald. No, the Delta Emerald episode, and they have something that has a name like that, and I've gotten past that one episode that they introduced. If they introduce others, I haven't technically stepped out yet, because in Alpha Sapphire I finally got to the Mirage Cave that has the Pokemon I'm going to be hunting for, and that Pokemon I'm trying to get its hidden ability to construct a utility Pokemon. But that's all stuff. I think I mentioned last time that I had beaten Axiom Verge, and I haven't gone back to it to see if I wanted to 100% complete it. Partially because I have to find, based on my inventory, I think I've missed a couple of the smaller upgrade things, and 2 or 3 secret worlds, one of which is the hard secret world, so I have to figure that out. Especially since I have even more Switch games, and I do intend to start one up. I'm wondering if the next one is going to be Remake, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's all stuff. This has been an update. Yeah. Y'all have a nice week.